All right. When I was a kid, there was this guy, one of my best friends. His name was William. And I loved this guy. You might have seen him before. You might know who he is. And I loved him so much, and I wanted to know what he was doing at all times. He wrote poems and sonnets, and most of all, he wrote these wonderful plays. And I was into them, the tragedies, the comedies, whatever they were. Well, he had this theater, right? And this theater was called the Globe Theater. Awesome place in England. I'm not going to get into how many seats there were, but everyone went there. The royalty, the people who owned things, everyone in the whole town went there, and especially the largest group of people, which is like most of us, the groundlings. And they called them the groundlings because they sat on the ground to watch what was going on. Well, they took that stage, that Globe Theater stage, and they tilted it about a foot lower in the front than it was in the back, okay? And why they tilted it was because the people on the ground would not have been able to see what was happening on the stage unless they tilted it. Not like when you play, ping pong, the pinball machine, and it tilts. But they tilt to the front of the stage. That's why we call, in the modern stage, we still call the front of the stage downstage and the back of the stage upstage. But now we do this, like what you see behind you. We rake the seats so that they're actually on the incline. But even as a young child, the concept of tilting the stage was more than just dropping the front of the stage down a foot. So here's me, Here I am, this little kid right here, kind of blurry, but almost androgynous. And I understood that tilting the stage was more than just lowering the front. It was about creating access to the arts, more than anything else, for me. For me. And art wasn't just, what was on a piece of paper, or music, or film, or making music. It was all these things. And my mother, growing up in the first of my life in Brooklyn, she made all these things very accessible to me. And my first record, it's a big CD, was The Wiz. And I remember going to see it on Broadway. And for me, you see this empty slide? Life was an open canvas after The Wiz. It was like anything art that I could get my hands on, I wanted a piece of it. Whether it was singing, dancing, or acting, I wanted to be a part of it, and I wanted to know how everything worked. So with that said, at that young age, everything starts to become art to me, even the things that other people thought were messes. And it became taxing to me to try to figure out how I could share this with my friends who thought I was a little bit crazy and a little bit wacky when I would put mud on a piece of white paper and go, "Ooh, that's art." Or I'd write a poem about it or sing a song. And I started to realize that everybody sees art in different ways. And if in fact we're going to tilt the stage for people, we have to start recognizing what they see as art and what we see as art and be able to explain that to them, right? It makes sense. So we're different types of people, right? All different shapes and sizes and colors. We all have different backgrounds, but what we all have built into us is a desire to tell our story. We all have some story, and we look for others who have similar stories to ours. And I think that's a major way that we find each other in this crazy little world that we're living in. Now, for some people, art is scary. That might be a scary picture. And for others, that is mystery. But how do we, as a people, take what we're learning, what we accept as art, whether it be acting, dancing, singing, any of the major pieces, and make it accessible to everyone? Is it about money? Well, sometimes it is. Is it about being classic or about being a little bit funky? Sometimes it is. But more than anything else, it's accessibility. And so what I'm speaking about today is more than about what art is or about what art is to me, as much as it is a challenge to you to find your way to tilt your stage. I mean, this to someone might just look like cracked, a cracked wall, but it's Marilyn Monroe to others, And if I didn't know that this is a rendition of something that came from another artist, if I didn't have those things brought to me at a young age, it wouldn't mean anything. So, what is your song? What is the part of you that screams out? Where do you create your art? And how do you open your life and open your doors to others who need to create? Now, we hear about all kinds of violent things that happen in our city and all the craziness out there, but I'm taxing each and one of you to be your own little mad scientist, okay? And start experimenting with how you can make art accessible to others. I don't care if you work in a hospital or if you work in LSC design or if you work in, a school. What is artistic there, and what do you have accessible to you? What makes you a Renaissance man or woman? What makes you the conduit to someone else learning about your art and what is around you? What do you have to do? I'm not asking you to necessarily open your pockets, although that would be wonderful. But I am asking you to recognize that the way we create these Renaissance men and women, our future businessmen and women, is by recognizing that those who've embraced the arts as a part of their everyday life, these are the outside of the box thinkers. There's a reason for tilting the stage more than just for the sake of the art. Although for me, I would be more than happy, since I've never had any other job but the arts, I do recognize what it's done for people. So here we are, all reaching out to one another, trying to help each other up that hill, right? Trying to figure out how we're going to make it to the next day, how we're going to do that, and how the arts get us there. And especially in a town like this, where you can actually see that the arts are actually starting to take a look at us and turning forward to us. So I'm challenging each and every one of you today. They look really happy on that picture. I'm challenging you to take a look at our city and take a look at the art that it is, the living art that it is each and every day, and where you fit in to making this place more art accessible. Whether it's opening your home, opening your car, setting up a pop-up gallery, or just standing out on the street and giving your art. How will you tilt the stage? Thank you.